Nobody likes getting phone calls at midnight, because good news rarely comes at that hour. Most people expect bad news, an emergency, or nothing at all. But what if the one calling you isn't even alive anymore? That was the nightmare that swallowed Emily Carter's life whole. And it all began on a quiet night in her small Ohio dorm room. When the clock struck 12:03, Emily was a final-year university student, the kind of girl who kept her head down, worked part-time at a cafe, and stayed up too late cramming for exams. She wasn't into ghost stories, she didn't watch horror movies, and she never really believed in anything supernatural. But all of that was about to change. That night, she was at her desk, eyes heavy from hours of staring at her laptop. The bitter coffee in her cup had long gone cold. She was about to close her books when her phone buzzed violently against the wooden table. A call from an unknown number. She hesitated, frowning. Who would be calling her at midnight? Against her better judgment, she answered. Hello. Her voice cracked with fatigue. At first, there was only silence, then a faint, rasping breath, and then a voice. Emily. I'm cold. Her heart froze in her chest. She knew that voice. It was Rochelle, but that couldn't be. Rachel had died 2 years ago in a car crash on a rainy night. Emily had gone to her funeral, had cried until she couldn't breathe. She dropped the phone onto the desk, her body trembling. It must have been a sick prank, someone using a voice changer, or a coincidence. But in her heart, she knew. That was Rachel's voice. The next night, it happened again, always the same time. 12:03. Always an unknown number, sometimes blocked, sometimes a string of digits that didn't make sense. She told herself not to pick up, but she always did. Each time, Rachel said something different. Sometimes crying softly, sometimes whispering. Don't leave me here. They won't let me go. The longer Emily listened, the less it felt like a prank. The pauses, the tone, the way Rachel said her namet was too real, too familiar. Sleep abandoned her. She began keeping a journal, writing down every call, the exact times, the exact words. She even tried recording the calls, but every time she replayed them, there was nothing but static. White noise, like an old radio out of tune. No voice, no proof. She told herself she was imagining things, that grief was eating her alive. But then the voice began telling her things. Details, places, secrets. One night, Rachel's voice said, Emily, I'm trapped in the dark. Find me at Old Pine Road. Emily's blood ran cold. Old Pine Road. That was where Rachel's car had crashed. It was a deserted stretch of highway, lined with pines that loomed like prison bars. The next day, Emily drove there, heart pounding. The road was empty, eerie in the daylight. She saw the spot, the dented guardrail, the crooked telephone pole, the faded memorial cross with plastic flowers, wilted baton. She stood there, clutching her phone, when it buzzed again. 12:03 in the afternoon this time. She answered, barely able to breathe. Emily, you're close, but don't let them see you. The call ended instantly. She spun around, scanning the trees, the empty road, the rustling shadows. No one was there. After that day, things escalated. Mirrors in her apartment reflected more than they should. When she brushed her teeth, she swore she saw Rachel's pale face standing behind her in the glass, just out of reach. When she turned around, the room was empty. When she turned back, the reflection lingered for a fraction of a second too long. Her phone began acting on its own. Voice recordings appeared without her pressing record. When she played them, it was Rachel whispering over and over. I'm cold. I'm cold. Emily told her mother. Her mother shook her head, blamed it on stress. Lack of sleep trauma she hadn't fully healed from. But Emily knew what she was experiencing was real. Every time she tried to ignore the calls, they grew more persistent, more violent. Desperate, she began searching online. Deep forums, obscure threads about the paranormal. She found others who claimed to have received calls from the dead. Some spoke of the same times. 12:03, 3:33. The witching hours. One thread chilled her to the core. It read, "If you answer 3 times in a row, they know you've opened the door. Once it's open, they won't stop until you join them." Emily realized with horror she had answered 5 times. The final night came without warning. Emily sat in her room, phone in her trembling hands, watching the clock tick closer. Las 12:01. And las 12:02. Las 12:03. The phone buzzed. She answered without hesitation. Her voice cracked. "Rachel, what do you want from me?" For a moment, silence. Then Rachel's voice, weaker than ever. "Emily, it's not me. They're just using my voice." Emily's blood ran cold. Her breath hitched in her throat. And then the voice shifted, warping into something deeper, rougher, like 100 voices speaking at once, layered on top of each other. "The door's open, Emily. Now it's time for me to come through." The lights in her room flickered, then died. Her phone shrieked with static, louder and louder, until she dropped it. The mirror beside her bed rippled like water, and in it, she didn't see herself. She saw Rachel, smiling, her face twisted and wrong, her lips stretching too far. Rachel's reflection mouthed words that didn't come out of Emily's mouth. "Now you're mine." Emily screamed, but no sound escaped. The mirror cracked, then shattered. The next morning, her roommate found the room in ruins, shards of glass everywhere. The phone on the floor, its screen fractured but still glowing faintly with the time. 12:03. Emily was gone. No trace, no struggle, nothing. Police searched for weeks. They found nothing but a dead end. Friends whispered that she'd run away, broken under the weight of grief. But a few of them admitted something darker, that in the nights after Emily disappeared, their own phones began ringing. Always at 12:03. Always from an unknown number. And when they answered, it wasn't Rachel's voice they heard, it was Emily's. "Help me. I'm so cold." And so the curse continued.